pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Nerf Secrets Revealed. So, I'm hoping that you're pretty much up to date here, because this is essentially the second part right here that I have to talk about. And let me tell you, I'm not even close to being finished with talking about certain things out there that involve blasters with recycled names and the like, despite the fact that they're reskins or re-releases or repaints or whatnot. But nonetheless, I still got a lot more to say. So you might as well just go ahead and sit back and relax here, because I do have a lot more to say here based on renaming a certain blaster. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to Rivals blasters, because there are in fact quite a few of them that we've had released in the last year or so that needed renaming, essentially. Because after all, I've talked about it before, that the concept of naming Rivals blasters after certain Greek, Roman, or Chinese mythological figures throughout history was a pretty novel concept at the time. I mean, starting in 2015, we've had Rivals blasters named after such gods like Zeus, Apollo, Heracles, Chaos, and others out there. But then, of course, they're gonna mess it all up now. Especially with late 2019, where a new blaster known as the Knockout came by. And I might as well mention that later, but anyways. 5 blasters currently, the way I see it, have names that are not relative to their original concept. So, let's keep that in mind though. Currently, Rivals blasters that don't have those kind of names in them are the Finisher, Takedown, Knockout, Charger, and Roundhouse. But let's go ahead and correct that, shall we? The Finisher I'm going to be calling the Deimos. The Takedown I'm going to be calling the Achilles. Roundhouse is going to be called Eros. Charger is called Morpheus. And Knockout is Oniros. Simple as that. And all Rivals blasters that come out after that, whether or not they're actually going to have their original names coming back, I mean, let's just hope that Nerf gets it through and just starts to name Rivals blasters after mythological figures again. Let's just hope that is. Because now what I'm going to do is, there are a few other things right here that I got to talk about. There's another Raven blaster. That's right. That makes 4 Ravens in total. That's crazy. I've already mentioned that there's going to be 4 Alpha Troopers in total. 4 Alpha Troopers and 4 Ravens. And pretty soon I will talk a little bit more about the other Alpha Troopers other than the Tango, Renegade, and Beta Commander, which were pretty much replacement names given to the Elite version and Alpha Trooper version in the XD lineup. So basically, this 4th Raven here, the white one, which is quite honestly called the Raven Fire. I mean, where do I even begin there? Raven Fire? That doesn't do nothing to it. That does to any of that. So, let's just give it a rename, right? The Fusionator. That's it. That's exactly what I'm going to be doing there, right then and there. So, that's pretty much out of the way now, because now I've already talked about Rivals blasters for a little moment, and now let's move on to Vortex blasters. Because what I got to say about that is that Vortex has had 3 different lineups so far. There was the original Vortex lineup from 2009 to around 2011. Then there was the version, which came out a few years later. And in the most recent of times, we've had the VTX lineup. Vortex, and VTX. I kind of find that to be a little bit strange there for a moment, but anyways. The Vortex lineup, of course, was most notable for having blasters like the Proton, Vigilon, Praxis, Lumitron, Pyragon, Revonix 360, and others. But, to talk about the for example, there were only 4 that we pretty much have knowledge about. 4 different Vortex blasters, and there was also a 5th one that came along eventually. Those 5 blasters were each known by their same names, of course, at the time. The re-blasters included, all of them, were the Proton, Vigilon, Praxis, Pyragon, and Diatron. Yeah. Crazy as that sounds, so yeah. But of course, let's just go right on ahead and dive into the renaming factor into it. Although, quite honestly, I have yet to come up with a replacement name for the Diatron. Yeah. The Vortex Re-Diatron is going to be known as the Vortex Re-Diatron until I can find out a better name for it. But what I got now is that the Re-Proton is going to be called the Retrode, Re-Vigilon is going to be called the Juno, and the Re-Praxis will be called the Yadas. While the Re-Pyragon is going to be called the Zodiac. So, that kind of sums up the Re series itself. I mean, I kind of find that strange, to be honest, but now let's go ahead and dive on into the final part of the Vortex lineup itself before we pretty much never got to see them again. So, VTX blasters in there, there were only 3 of them this time instead of 5. I just don't really know why Vortex was all of a sudden failing like that, but anyways, 3 blasters in the VTX lineup, and they were known as the Praxis, Pyragon, and Vigilon. Yet again, Praxis, Pyragon, and Vigilon. They never changed anything. That is so stupid. But, you know what? I got replacement names for them too. But don't worry. Again, I will give out a replacement name for the Re-Diatron. It kind of sucks there wasn't no Diatron here because that was a pretty nice blaster for what it was. But anyways, the VTX Praxis, I'm going to be calling the Francium. VTX Pyragon, I'm going to be calling the Quasar. And the Vigilon from the VTX lineup is going to be called the Synthesizer. And now, yet again, I'm kind of feeling somewhat tired about this whole thing. Maybe some other time I might have more to talk about here because after all, I still got the rest of this whole entire paper to go. So just keep in mind though, there's a lot that I have left to say about this. So expect at least 1 part or even 2 if it's absolutely necessary to show up. But if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.